Tiana over at Maiden Lane Studios. Today I'm going to give you a really kind of more power Pilates type workout today. We are going to be using the magic circle. So if you have one of those at home, this is a really good prop. Like, we call it the magic circle, it could be the ring of fire. People look at it and they kind of get wide-eyed a little bit, but we'll use it today for strengthening and then also a little bit of stretching as well. So you'll see that it's good and evil together, okay? So we're gonna start just standing. We're gonna hold on to the magic circle. Just want you guys to find a nice functional parallel position with your feet. So you have like your big toes reaching forward, hips and shoulders are just square towards me. We're just gonna start with a little bit of breath work as we start to move through the arms and just kind of find a little mobility. So we're gonna take a big inhale and exhale. Another big inhale. You can sort of think of lengthening your spine as you inhale. And exhale. Now continue to breathe, but we're going to start to lift the circle above our head. Big inhale. Keeping the shoulders drawing down your back. And then exhale, just lower the circle in front of you. And we're going to take another big inhale here. Again, lengthening through the spine, keeping the ribs drawn in. Keep the ribs stacked over the hips. And then exhale as the arms lower down. Good. From here, we're going to take it up again, but we're going to hold it here. So nice big inhale. Keep the length of your spine as you start to find a little side bend. So we're just going to take it over to the right. Try to feel some length here. So I'm using the circle to kind of reach away and get a little bit more length here through the left side. Use your exhale to come back up. Take a big inhale. Exhale, side bend to the other side. So we're still trying to keep the chest and the hips square. So we're really thinking of lateral flexion here. And then just pick it back up. We're going to do that again, but we're going to start from the beginning. So again, taking an inhale. We reach, exhale, up and over, side bend. From here, you're gonna round the body forward. We're circling around, and then we're just gonna restack. Okay, we're gonna do that again on the other side. Inhale, exhale, side bend. We're gonna round the body forward, just circling around. Good. We'll do that one more time, but again, starting with that big inhale as the arms reach up. We're going to take that exhale, side bending, and then continue to lengthen as we circle around. So we're opening up the back, stabilizing still through the hips, trying to find that sense of space between the ribs. And we take it to the other side, up and over. Rounding the body forward. Good. And then just go ahead and restack, lowering the arms down. Okay, so from here, what the goal is to kind of strengthen a little bit more through the serratus and through the lats with the circle. So there's a little bit of tension and resistance in the circle. So what I want you to do is you're gonna place it at your hip. And it's gonna be right below where your actual hip bone is and your greater trochanter. So there's like that little space. It should fit really comfortably there. Enough to where if I were to take my arm out to the side that it can be straight. So it's not gonna be hiked up or bent elbow. So just enough to where it feels kind of comfortable. You want to feel your chest nice and open. And it's really simply, we're just going to start to push into the circle. And it doesn't even have to be that hard. But with your opposite hand, I want you to take it underneath your armpit. So just kind of directly at your bra line, sort of. And then I want you to see as you push into that circle, if those muscles start to tone or tense up a little bit. And that's kind of what we're looking for, right? So we're trying to strengthen that serratus, and we're just opening and closing the circle. But again, you're using the rest of the body to kind of oppose that. So you're pressing into the circle and you're gonna feel hopefully your opposite oblique also have to turn on a little bit. So that way we're not pushing and it's not, pushing us over to the side. So continue to press into the circle, use that for that strength in the serratus, but also start to find that posture, right? So I'm pressing into the circle, continuing to keep my chest open, the hips still square. We're just gonna do it 2 more times. And last time. Go ahead and take the circle just over to the other side. And again, find that same little divot. Hand connects, and I have sort of the heel of my hand on. It gives me just a better connection through the circle. And then again, we're just pressing. And if you want to use the hand again just to see if it's toning up, this muscle is really important for any time we do things like, if you're on like all fours, or if you're doing push-ups or planks, anything like that. It's a good muscle to kind of help you stay lifted with. Good. And we're just going to take 4 more here. So pressing into it, but again, try to resist it, get a little bit taller. Good. Last one here. And then from here, we're gonna take the circle again above our heads. I'm gonna be heel-toeing my feet apart just a little bit because I do want a little bit of space here. I just wanna take a nice big inhale again. We're gonna take it into a roll down. So we're gonna exhale, round the body forward. Good. Inhale while you're down there. I want you to feel your tailbone start to reach back behind you. The head and the arms fall nice and heavy. And then we're gonna exhale to round the body. We're gonna slowly rebuild. Okay, so once we come back up, head comes up last, and we're gonna try that just one more time. Inhale. Exhale, nod chin to chest. You're gonna slowly lower down. Again, head and arms are heavy here, using that time just to kind of lengthen through the spine and stretch through the back of the legs. And then again, we're gonna use your exhale to slowly come on up. So just holding the circle as a prop. Good, so no real pressing or anything into it. From here, stay lifted. I'm gonna take us into a quick little lunge series. So this is kind of where we get the heart rate up. But again, you don't even have to use the magic circle for this piece if you don't want to. But it's really gonna give us an extra bit of work in the upper body, and it actually helps you to kind of connect more to the body as a whole. So I'm gonna start with just my left foot forward. Right leg's gonna reach back, okay? And you wanna find your left knee in line with your left ankle, big toes reaching forward here. And then this back leg is reaching, but it's also actively reaching, right? So you wanna feel the hamstring and the glute kind of turn on and energy through that back heel. And then from here, we're just gonna take the circle above our heads. So you wanna find that nice tall spine. And then from here, the left knee is no longer gonna move. We're gonna try to use that as our stability leg. And then there's just a little press through the circle. So again, I'm activating through that serratus. And we're gonna find length here on our inhale. And then on the exhale, all I'm doing is pitching the body weight forward. So holding there just for a second, you wanna find a long line from your fingertips all the way to the back heel. And you're feeling your abdominals pull in, kind of this co-contraction, right, from the front and the back body to help support the spine. And then you're gonna inhale just to bring that shape up. So again, you're gonna reach forward. Think again of lengthening the spine. There will be more work in this front leg as you reach forward. And then again, you're gonna bring it up. Okay, so we're just gonna take a few more like that. As you reach, you're lengthening. As you come back up, you're lengthening. Be mindful here as you're reaching that you're not allowing your shoulders to start to creep up higher to the ears, and that you're still finding a lot of energy even through that back leg. So I really kind of am driving my big toes down of either foot, and then that will actually kind of help me to find more stability. It's helping me to find my center a little bit more. Think of your biceps staying in line with your ears as we pitch forward just 2 more times. Good, and 1 more time to hold. So we're gonna stay here. We're gonna do 2 things. One is gonna be a tap of my right toes in, and then I'm just gonna reach the leg back. The other one is a pull with the arms. So I'm just kind of act like I'm putting a halo over my head, and then reach away. So both of those things are gonna happen together, okay? So we're gonna tap the toe in as I take the circle over the head, and then as I reach the leg back, I reach the arms forward. So we'll do that a couple more times. Tap it in, reach it out. Tap it in, reach it out. So you can add as much work to the circle as you'd like. So you could squeeze it, or you can just be holding it. Now I'm kind of squeezing it as it comes over the head, and I'm kind of pulling it apart a little bit as it reaches over the head. But you're trying not to let your body lift or lower anymore. It's really just movement from the limbs. So stay very controlled in the torso. 2 and 1. Good. Standing up tall, lower the arms back down. You have 1 more piece. We're going to be taking it into a little bit of a twist. So this should feel really good for the thoracic body. So from here again, same leg is going to go back. We're going to take an inhale. Exhale, send the circle forward and send your leg back. From here, the upper body lifts. Find that long line again. So crown of the head to your tailbone, so torso is nice and tall. And then from here, we're going to take the circle just over to the left. Let's sink down a little bit more. Take the circle over to the left, but don't let your hips come with you. Pull the circle back to center. And again, we're going to rotate to the left, and then circle comes back to center. Just 4 more times. So your gaze will follow the circle, but you're really imagining it's your ribs that are rotating around the hips, and not just the arms, right, during the rotation. So they're just part of your torso. Right, so it all moves as one piece. And especially as I start to rotate to the left, I'm trying to feel a deeper stretch through that right psoas, so I'm still reaching through my right heel. We'll do it one more time. Twist, and then back to center. Go ahead and stand up. We're just gonna take it to the other side. So right foot's your stabilizer now, left foot's gonna be stepping back. We'll take that whole series over again. So when you're ready from here again, inhale. Exhale, I'm just gonna shoot that back leg back, and then still just kind of feel the belly pulling up and in. Check into that front knee is over the front ankle here. And then again, energy through the back leg. So we're gonna start nice and tall. We're just gonna find that hinge again from the hips. So we take an inhale, and then exhale, we hinge. Good, and then bring it right back up. Good, and then continue just like that. But again, remember all the cues. So you're feeling length in the spine as you hinge. Good, and then you're picking it back up. So as I lean forward, there is a lot more weight that I start to feel in my glute, and then I'm using my heel to push down to help me back up. So I am strengthening the posterior chain as I do this. It's not all in my quad. Thinking of your back leg here as well, or your back foot rather, you want to think of that big toe pressing down. Very tempting to let it just wobble out to the pinky side. Just do 2 more like that. Good, keeping abdominals engaged, shoulders down the back, 1 more. And then we hold here. So again, stable there on that right foot. We're gonna start those scooters with the arm pull. When you're ready, tap the left toes in, squeeze the circle over the head. Reach the arm and leg out. So right foot stable, the rest of my body is stable. I'm just allowing the knee and the arms to work together. Good, we're gonna take it up. That's it, and down. And just 4 more. Squeeze the circle, reach. Squeeze the circle, reach. 2 more, squeeze the circle, reach. Last one, squeeze and reach. And then you can just step in, stand tall, and lower the arms back down. So we have just the twist to come up next. Hopefully your heart rate is up as well. We're gonna take an inhale to prepare. And then exhale again as you reach. Right foot stable. We're gonna lift the upper body up again. You can almost think of a gentle sort of tuck of the pelvis. So your hip bones are still reaching forward. Nice and tall through the spine, come low into the lunge, and you're just gonna rotate to the right. So we're rotating towards the bent knee, and then bring it back in. Inhale, exhale, twist. Good, and again, inhale, exhale, twist. Right, so again, you're thinking of that back hip staying where it is as you twist. It's really tempting to let it come with you so you can get deeper into your rotation, but let's try to find stability through the hips. And we're challenging balance here too, so when the eyes move as your body rotates, it's much more challenging. You're gonna do just 1 more. Twist, and then come back to center. Foot comes back in. And then I'm gonna turn just to kind of face you guys again. We're gonna be taking it into just a really quick roll down. So arms come back up. Find that little heel toe apart that we found earlier. So it's now a wider distance than that functional parallel was. So it's definitely wider. Feet are outside of the hips. And we're gonna take the arms above our heads. Inhale, and just drop the shoulders. Exhale, you're gonna round the body forward. So coming all the way down again, and maybe even sinking deeper than you did before, because now the muscles are pretty warmed up. And then from here, you should have a wide enough distance between your ankles that you can slide that circle between both of your ankles, okay? And then you can just kind of wiggle or do whatever you need to do to make sure it feels secure. Big toes still reaching forward, we'll take an inhale. Exhale, start to round through the back. I'm tucking the pelvis under a little bit. Head and arms are heavy. And then I just restack my spine. Okay, so from here, we're gonna take it again a little bit more into like a balance challenge. But again, the circle doesn't even have to be used, but it's that extra little resistance that we're gonna have to kind of fight for to stay lifted. So what I wanna do from here first is to give the circle just a little bit of a squeeze so I can actually feel my inner thighs kind of turn on a little bit. But then also that connection from where my ankles are squeezing to feel the inner thighs, but then also a little sense of a pelvic floor lift. So there's just a little bit of a lift, and it's more of like a deep feeling. From here, I'm just gonna shift my weight a little bit more over to the left side. So then my right heel kind of starts to pick up, but I'm not leaning forward, still tall through the spine. And then I continue to shift my weight over to the left until my right toes can hover off the mat, okay? So from here, turning on the front and the back body, the hands can stay at the hips for stability, and we're just gonna squeeze the circle. So pressing into the circle, two things. Right hip is gonna be your mover, right? So we're strengthening the right hip, and that seems pretty obvious because we're pressing into some resistance. But then the left thigh or inner thigh is having to kind of fight back, right? So that way we don't start to push ourselves over to the left. So you're using every opportunity as you're squeezing into the circle to get a little bit taller and to find a little bit more stability, okay? Stay heavy in your left big toe knuckle as well. Again, that's gonna help you to turn on inner rails of the legs, which will also help you find stability. So just 2 more here, pressing, and last one. Now from here, you're gonna just roll the circle back a couple inches, just so there's like a slight external rotation from the hip, and then you're just gonna start to press into the circle again. So little tiny pulses. What you'll start to notice is that your left foot, again, it's there for balance, right, and control. You're gonna start to feel, or at least for myself, it kind of starts to cramp a little bit. The arch is really working to help you stabilize, right? So it kind of starts to pick up, the center of the heel is driving down, your big toe knuckle, baby toe knuckle are pushing down, so you kind of have like a little tripod of your foot. And just one last one there. Okay, coming back to center with that leg, you just drop the right foot down, okay, and then we're just gonna shift over to the other side. So first, just making sure you feel really stable on your right foot. And then again, you just start to lean a little bit to where you feel your right glute turn on, and then we start to pulse the circle in, good. So continue just like that. You might notice one side feeling a little bit different than the other. You might feel better balance on one side or the other. Okay, and then again, you're using that kind of squeeze in to think about getting taller, right? So almost think like squeezing the toothpaste from the bottom, right? Kind of starts to lift up. Good, so just take 2 more. Okay, and then you're gonna hold there, and you're just gonna let the circle roll back just a couple inches, so it shouldn't have to come out of the ankles at all. You shouldn't have to adjust, it's very small. A little bit more external rotation, just hitting the glute med at a little bit different angle here. So stable on the right foot, hips, hands could be at the hips. And again, that'll just kind of help you to stay square through the hips because it's the femur that's rotated, right, not the hips. We'll take it for 4 and for 3, keep breathing, for 2 and 1. Now, foot comes back down, we're back into that parallel stance. I'm just gonna kind of waddle a little bit to face the other way just so you guys can see better, but you can stay with where you're at. And I'm just gonna take a big inhale here. On the exhale, I'm just gonna lower back down. So I'm taking it down into a roll down again. So again, trying to find that sense of length through my spine. But then from here, I'm just gonna squat down. Good, and then stand back up. Okay, so there's a little bit of a squeeze here. Squat down and back up. And then one more, squat down. And then I'm gonna try to find my balance here in like a nice low squat. I'm gonna try to sweep my hands back behind me and eventually land on my booty. So from here, let's see what happens, boom. All right, cool, so you just kind of helped yourself down, however you need to get there, right? Okay, so from here, I'm keeping the circle in between my ankles, and I'm gonna find myself just sitting tall on my sits bones to start. So you'll notice if you're too far behind or in front of them. I just want you to find a nice sort of like neutral pelvis. Take an inhale here to prepare. On your exhale, slowly start to lower down. So I'm still sort of squeezing into the circle, still feeling the adductors engage. And then I'm just gonna hold here for a second, taking another inhale. And then exhale, continue to pull the belly back and think of your pubic bone sort of curling towards you. That'll really help you to lengthen out the low back. And we're gonna continue to find that exhale down. Exhale down. Exhale down. And on the last exhale, you're gonna come all the way down. The hands are gonna connect onto the floor. So if you need to wiggle, just kind of find yourself in a neutral position first. So again, tailbone is heavy, back ribs are heavy. And then use your abdominals. So I'm gonna squeeze into the circle a little bit so I can find more connection. I'm gonna use my abdominals to help me just lift my knees into a tabletop position. So hips and knees are in alignment. Shins ideally are about parallel to the ground. And then we're gonna be taking this a little bit more challenging. It's sort of a version of 100, but remember you can always just keep the knees bent for the whole one. So we'll go ahead and take the arms above the head to start. We're gonna take our inhale. On the exhale, nod chin to chest. We curl up to find our abdominal curl. Now before we move, think about what happened with the hips. So you want to make sure that the hips are still in neutral. We didn't tuck to lift the legs. So you're going to find that position first, right? And then from here, I'm going to stay lifted on the tips of the shoulder blades, and I'm going to start to pump the arms. So we take an inhale, exhale, 2, 3, 4, 5, hold, extend your legs out, and then continue. Knees in, continue. Last set. Draw the knees in, extend the legs up, and then just try to catch your breath for a second. So hopefully you guys felt the abdominals there. The idea was to stay lifted the whole time, right, in that upper abdominal curl. The arms were hopefully active, right? That same feeling that we had when we were pressing into the circle, the serratus had to be on to really control that upper body so that we're not just flopping around for nothing, right? So from here, the legs are reaching up to the ceiling. I have them parallel as best I can with squeezing into the circle. Feet are still, or big toes reaching up, right? So from here, arms are gonna stay down. They're gonna be helping me to eventually lift my hips up and over. Now, if you have any issues with your spine, right, it could be pretty much anything. You'll know if you can come into inversion or this really deep flexion through the spine. So just be very mindful about that before you start. Taking an inhale from here, I'm going to start from my abdominals. I'm sinking them down, so now it's more of a flat back. And then I'm pushing my hands down. That's going to help me also to lift up and over. So we're going to take an inhale here. On the exhale, belly's going to draw in. I start to pull my thighs back towards me, and then I just lift my hips up and over. Now, especially in this position, don't let your head look left or right. You're just trying to find your sits bones reaching straight up to the ceiling, so there's a little flat back here, and the thighs are just parallel to the ground. Now I'm just going to squeeze into the circle a little bit more, and then I'm going to resist coming down. So I'm going to try to fight gravity as I sink down one vertebrae at a time. And as I do that, I'm pushing the mat away, and I'm continuing to lengthen the spine. Good. So we come back down, maybe to a 45, that's just more challenging. You could just come straight back up. We'll take another inhale. Exhale. Belly's gonna pull in, I press the mat down so that I can lift my hips up and over. And so there's this deep scoop still kind of happening here through the abdominals, and I'm still finding that resistance in the mat, so I'm pushing the mat away. And then again, slowly lower down. Good, slow and steady. And you'll notice if you're feeling balance in both sides of your spine, or if you notice you lean to one side more than the other. Let's get 2 more in there. Up and over. Exhale to lower down. Nice and slow. Use the triceps. Good. 1 more to go. Exhale. Good. And slowly lower down. Nice job. Okay, from here, just bending into the knees, just grabbing onto the circle. Knees are going to extend, so 1 foot comes down at a time. And then you're just going to take the circle again up to the ceiling. Try to find your back ribs connected to the mat. And I just draw the inner thighs together a little bit more and point through the toes. That again helps me to turn on the center line so that I can kind of be a little bit stronger for when I curl up. So again, the circle here is going to be used as a prop, but then I'm also kind of giving it a little bit of a squeeze too so I can find more connection, so why not? We're going to take an inhale here, wrists are over the shoulders. On your exhale, we're going to notch in the chest, and we're going to curl up first just to find upper abdominal curl so you know what that feels like. And then you're going to continue to curl up as you reach the circle forward. So we just continue to curl, pulling the belly back as you reach the arms forward. Okay, so a little spine stretch. And then we're going to slowly start to lower down, okay? We're just going to do 3 more of these. So the goal is to take these really slow so you can actually feel the connection again of the ribs. So I'm pushing the ribs down and then I'm reaching the arms forward. So that's really helping me to curl up. And then again, belly pulls back as I reach forward. Good, keeping the shoulders set down the back, belly deepens as we lower back. And again, exhale, nod to the chest. Start to reach the arms forward, squeeze the inner thighs, rolling up and over. Good. Now for this one, we just restack the spine. Okay, and we're gonna, again, try to find ourselves right on top of the sits bones to start. Arms are reaching forward, shoulders are set down. We're gonna come down again, but just halfway. So I want you to feel your belly start to pull in again. I'm still reaching with my arms. Belly starts to draw in. I fall behind my sits bones. So from the top, just now behind, so I can feel that deep scoop. And then from here, I'm gonna take the circle just up a few inches and forward. Now, you're just lifting and lowering, and again, you'll notice right off the bat that there's a lot more abdominal work when you reach the arms up. So we're finding right away, arms are connected to the torso, right? They're never just their own thing. If this is too much for the hip flexors, and you've already tried to scoop deeper through the belly, you're gonna try to just bend into the knees and maybe flex into the feet a little bit, and that's actually really helpful to kind of come up and out of that. But for the challenge, we're gonna stay here long. We'll just do one more. Reach the arms forward, inhale, and then exhale, just curl all the way up. Okay, so we're gonna take another inhale. Exhale, coming down halfway, pause and hold. We're gonna rotate towards the right. So I've actually rotated the chest to the circles at heart center the whole time. And then again, we're gonna lift and lower, just 6. We go up. Keep squeezing through the inner thighs. We're stable here through the hips. Good, so as the arms reach up again, we're still activating through serratus. Right oblique should be working a lot. We're gonna do one more. Good, stay low. Let's come back through center. Take an inhale. Exhale, rotate to the other side. Lifting up and over, up. Reach. 4, 3, 2, 1. Come back to center, inhale. Exhale to curl all the way back up. So again, find that height through the spine to start. We're gonna be taking kind of all of that together a little bit. We'll call it around the world. We're just gonna take it twice to each side. So you're still holding on to the circle. We're sitting up nice and tall, find a tall spine. Exhale again, belly's gonna pull in. You come down halfway, okay? We're gonna start with the twist, so we rotate to the right. Then we're gonna lift the arms up and over. We circle over to the left. Good, back into center. Pause and hold, inhale. Exhale, twisting over to the left. Circle comes up and over as we rotate. So just from the ribs, right? Hips are still square. Back to center, inhale, and then exhale to restack. Okay, we're gonna do that one more time, but we'll start to the left. Inhale. Exhale to come down halfway. Rotate to the left. Circle up and over like you're tracing a sunset. Good, back to center, hold. We take it to the right. Exhale to twist. Inhale, up and over. Back to center, hold. Exhale to come all the way up. Okay, so we're gonna take it a little bit more challenging now for the abdominals. I'm gonna still use the circle because it does make me feel a little bit deeper connected. But again, this could be a chance you just wanna kind of drop off the circle. But I'll kind of show you where we're gonna go first. So again, we're gonna take an inhale. Exhale, this time come all the way down, just like we've been practicing before for the roll down, but don't just plop down. Take your time getting there. Okay, so once you're down, your left leg is gonna stay straight. Your right knee is gonna pull into a tabletop position, and it's kind of a little bit precarious to get into, but once you're there, you'll know what we're doing. So once the pad of the circle is just kind of to the front of that right thigh, you're gonna be taking your right elbow, connecting it to the other pad, and then that hand's gonna come behind your head as you lift into your upper abdominal curl. So left arm's gonna stay down by your side. The right hand comes behind your head to help you into your upper abdominal curl. Then I'm gonna take my elbow, connect it to the circle, and just feel this sense of opposition, right? So both directions. Trying to pull my knee to my elbow and my elbow to the knee, and I'm pressing into the circle to do that. So I'm gonna stay lifted here. From here, my left arm's gonna reach down by my side, and then you're gonna allow that left arm to sort of help you lift a little bit more. If you need it to be behind the head for more support, you're welcome to do that. But from here, pressing into that circle, I'm gonna start to float this left leg straight up.
It doesn't have to come all the way back down. It could if you want, but I'm just reaching it out to 45 and back up, okay? So all the while I'm staying lifted in the right side, and I'm finding length here still through the left. Stay strong through the abdominals, find that reach. Stay lifted for 2 more. 1. Bend the knee. We're gonna stay lifted. If you need a break, take it. I'm just extending now and I'm bending it in this way. So we reach. You can kind of think single leg stretch a little here. Stay heavy in the back ribs. For 3, I'm tapping the thigh to the circle. Last one coming up. Reach and pull. Lower the left foot down. You can take the circle away and then just reach your right leg across the mat. Okay. So from here, same thing, but just the other side. So we'll start with the pad of the circle just on top of the left thigh. Draw the knee into a tabletop position, knee over hip, shin parallel to the ground. And then again, you're gonna take your left hand behind your head, and I really do use it like to cradle my head. It's like really supportive to do that, right? And you're not just kind of cranking the head forward. So elbow is gonna connect onto the circle. Okay, so I'm lifted in upper abdominal curl, and then I'm reaching the right arm long down by my side. So that's gonna help me to curl up a little bit more and then relax more through my neck. So from here, a little squeeze of the circle. I start to float the right leg up and then reach it. And lower, good. Up and reach, up and reach. Now if you don't have the circle here, you can always just use your left palm to press down into your thigh. You're gonna get that same connection. 1 more. Stay lifted, knee's gonna bend. It extends, pull it in. 5. Stay lifted, get higher. Taking it for 3. And 2. Last one. Whoo, knee bends in. Lower the foot down, take the circle away just for a second. And then we're just gonna let the knees kind of rock from side to side. So you're gonna sort of hold on to the circle. Just a really quick active recovery in the middle. We're gonna be coming into a little bit more posterior work now. So we're gonna be working through the glutes and finding a little bit of spinal mobility. Okay, so from here, go ahead and keep the feet flat on the mat. We're just gonna heel toe the feet apart. And then again, you're gonna find yourself in neutral, so tailbone is heavy here. So I'm gonna use the circle, just kind of, I'm gonna lift up and just be really dramatic about it. Lift up comes between the knees, right? And then what's gonna happen is the circle's gonna wanna open up, right? So the whole time, our goal is to keep that circle more in like an oval shape, okay? So keeping the big toes reaching forward, the pelvis still in neutral. We're gonna start really basic with our breath. So we're gonna inhale as the circle opens. Exhale as we squeeze the circle. It comes into more of like an oval shape, and then our low back will imprint, okay? So we inhale, we're in neutral. Tailbone is heavy. Exhale, as I squeeze the circle, I start to imprint the low back. We're just gonna do 2 more. Inhale, so just getting breath and movement connected. It's a little tilt to the pelvis. Feeling equal weight in the circle. Okay. Now the next one, we squeeze into the circle. You're gonna hold here. So low back is imprinted. There's that little tuck of the pelvis. Feet stay grounded, especially through your big toes. You're gonna continue to curl the pelvis towards you. The hips are gonna lift, and you're gonna find this angle where your shoulders ideally are in line with your knees. And we're gonna take an inhale at the top, so you're still squeezing into the circle. And then exhale, think of softening your sternum, softening your ribs. Keep scooping the pelvis as you lower down. So I'm trying to find equal weight on both sides of my spine as I lower. And then ideally my hips connect at the same time. And then I drop the tailbone heavy. Inhale, the circle opens. Okay, we're just gonna do 1 more like that. I'm gonna start to add on. Exhale, squeeze the circle, imprint the spine. Curl the hips up. Find energy reaching through the front of the knees. You want to open up through the front of the hips here. That'll really help you to turn on the hamstrings if you don't feel them already. Inhaling at the top. And then exhale, soften sternum, soften ribs. Again, you're lengthening to lower back down. Okay. Once you make your way there, again, you're in neutral. The circle is gently opened. We're going to stay lifted for the next one. We take an inhale. Exhale again, big toes heavy, low belly pulls in. We scoop to float up. Once you're lifted from here, keeping your feet where they're at, we just start to open the circle a little bit like we did when we were down. And you squeeze the circle.
Okay, so we're just opening and closing into the circle. You can use the triceps and hands to kind of press down into the mat. That'll help you to give your upper body a little bit bigger base of support, so you have energy pressing down to help you stay lifted. Again, good, just 3 more. A lot of work still through the belly, so don't feel like you can just dump into your low back here. 1 more. And then you're gonna hold the squeeze, take your inhale. Exhale, soften sternum, soften ribs, keep tucking the pelvis. Lower back down, tailbone drops heavy, and then the circle opens back up. Things change just a little bit, so listen up, take an inhale. Exhale, belly draws in, low back imprints as we squeeze into the circle. Scoop to float your hips on up. Once you're lifted again, find that long line from shoulders to knees. Without letting your right knee or foot move, your left knee opens the circle, exhale to squeeze. Open the circle, exhale to squeeze. So keeping the gaze to the ceiling, some space between your chin and your chest, you're really trying to stabilize through this right knee. You can think back to the standing work that we did earlier where we were trying to balance on that 1 foot and that straight leg was pressing into the circle. This one's focused a lot more on the glute med than the inner thigh, but you'll still feel the inner thighs a lot here as well. Last one here, left knee is stable now. Just your right knee opens the circle and pulls it back in. The goal here is to still keep the height of the hips as all this movement's happening, right? And allow the hips to not rotate, right, or drop down at all. So we're really trying to keep them level and stable. A lot of work, again, through the abdominals. Front and back body are working in that co-contraction to stay lifted. And we're gonna do that just 2 more times. Let's do 1 more for the measure to hold in center. Hold here. So take your inhale again, square the hips if you feel like they dropped at all. And then exhale, soften sternum, soften ribs. You're gonna melt yourself back down. Very nice. From here, this is where all that hard work kind of pays off just a little bit. So we're gonna reach the right leg long. You're gonna take the ball of your left foot into the circle. And then you're just gonna take a minute to think of this left hip sort of dropping away from your ribs a little bit more. When the leg came up, I have a tendency to sort of get that hip to hike up so I can pull the leg in more. So I want you to think of reaching the hips away from the lower ribs, right? So we'll start really nicely with just a little stretch. So I'm gonna start to flex into my ankle and then I'm gonna point to reach it away, okay? So the full ball of my foot, the metatarsals, are all connected inside of the circle, and I have both hands that are holding onto the other side. Now I'm dorsiflexing into the ankle, but I also start to feel a lot of stretch to the back line of the leg. And I want you to think of the femur dropping heavier into the socket as you pull into the circle. And then you're pushing the circle away, opening the front of the ankle, trying to get a little bit longer through the leg. And then you just continue there. Now, if the shoulders feel very rounded forward, you can always take a little more underhand grip of the circle. It's not gonna change the stretch of the leg at all, but it will open up the chest a little bit more and maybe make you feel more connected in the upper body. Now the next time that your foot comes just into like that neutral position, so you're not in one direction more than the other, you're gonna grab onto the circle with just your right hand, okay? You're gonna lengthen your left arm down by your side. From here, you just let the leg fall across your midline. Now it doesn't have to go very far. I've just softly bent it to my right elbow to let the leg reach. And then I'm still gonna try as much as I can to keep this left hip down. So ideally you're feeling a really deep stretch here through the left IT band. And then you're still gonna be using this left arm for support. So I'm kind of pressing this left arm down so I can feel more connected. And then I'm kind of still pushing my foot into the circle. For a deeper stretch, if you really feel like you need it, you're gonna flex and point into your ankle, into the circle, and you'll know how deep you need to go for that stretch. Okay. From here, you're gonna exhale to pull the leg back into center, just switch hands. So left hand comes onto the circle, right arm goes down by your side, and you're just gonna allow the left leg to open. Okay, so again, you could let it just drop out and kind of flop over to the left side and have the hip lift, but you're not gonna get too much from that. But I want you to think of, ideally, trying to keep the hips nice and square and allow the leg to open up. And again, thinking of lengthening more through the inner thigh. And then you're still trying to reach this right leg long and kind of pressing it down into the mat. Okay. On your exhale, just pull the leg back in. Now we're gonna keep pressing into the circle. Both hands connect back onto the circle. We're gonna use this sense again of opposition to help us up. So I want you to think of your foot pushing the circle away and sort of changing the shape to an oval. And the hands are pulling the circle towards me again. So I'm pushing and pulling. I'm gonna keep the right leg connected to the ground. I'm gonna take an inhale. On the exhale, nod chin to chest, start to push the circle away. And then I'm gonna continue to curl up until I find myself in my balance point, and then I'm gonna just pull the circle a little bit closer to me to find a deep stretch. Reach the arms long, keep pushing and pulling as you lower your spine down. So you're in control. You could take this really, really slow. Right, and then the head comes down, the shoulder blades connect. We'll do it one more time. Exhale, nod chin to chest, press into the circle. You can almost think of it as like either climb a tree a little bit on reformer, or you can think of it just as like a single leg teaser. Okay, good. So from here, just lower that left leg down. We're gonna float the right leg up, take the ball of the foot in, and now that we know what we're doing, we'll just go right through it. So we start to flex and point. And it's nice too, because you can kind of tell what your ankle's preference is. For me, my heel swings inward on this one, which is interesting to see. Normally, you can't really tell. So if you're on a reformer or something, you're doing footwork, you're not really noticing what your feet are doing if you can't, obviously see them. But this is interesting, so you can really focus on trying to lift and lower the heel and keeping it in a straight line as you lift and lower the whole time. So you're deepening dorsiflexion and plantar flexion as you pull into the circle, but then you're also just trying to strengthen those lateral muscles and medial muscles as well. Okay, so from here, keeping that neutral position with your ankle, left hand connects to the circle, right arm down by your side, and then again, we're just pulling the leg off to the side. So you're still trying to stay heavy in the back ribs. You're thinking of lengthening this right leg away. I'm using the right hand just to press down and as best I can, just try to stay centered with the upper body. Now I'm kind of pulling into the circle too, so I can feel my IT band really start to stretch here. On the exhale, I'm just gonna pull the leg back to center, just switching hands, left hand down by your side, right arm's gonna help to open up the leg. So again, it's a hip opener, it's an inner thigh opener, but we're really still trying to find stability through that upper body. So there's still that push-pull with the circle, so I'm still pulling into the circle to keep the leg lifted and active. And then exhale, just pull the leg back into center. Okay, from here, both hands connect onto the circle. Take the foot a little bit more forward, so I'm pushing into it a lot as I pull my arms back and shrug the shoulders down. Exhale, start to nod chin to chest. I'm gonna send the circle forward. As I do, I then start to lift the upper body and pull the thigh a little bit closer to me. So I'm bending my elbows to do that. Reach away, and then exhale, belly draws in, we lower back down, okay? Let's do it one more time. Inhale. Exhale, nod chin to chest, start to peel yourself up. So you can take your time, right? You should be able to hold here for forever because there's this like opposition, right? You're gonna keep lifting, and then maybe a little pull, right? So there's a big stretch through the hamstring. And then keep lengthening, not only through your right leg, but your left leg as well. That one's still active. It's not just flopped out doing nothing, right? Okay, so make our way all the way down. From here, right foot stays connected in a circle, the left leg comes up to meet it. I still have the ball of my foot connected into the circle, but both feet aren't gonna totally fit, so you're just gonna kind of have to figure it out. So from here, with both legs reaching, arms are still pulling back, we're gonna take an inhale. On your exhale, start to push the circle away. Again, as you do, you start to nod chin to chest and slowly lower your body up. So take it really slow, feel the stretch in the back. You'll know there's a point where if you keep pushing and pulling, your legs are just gonna fall down, right? So you wanna think of sort of lessening the push and the pull once you can start to find your own balance point, okay? So once you're lifted, you can think of your body as like your teaser, right? Now right between the sits bones and the tailbone, I'm gonna see if I can reach the right leg out, but don't let anything else change. Left leg reaches out, nothing else changes, just find your teaser. And then lower back down. Very nice, guys. Okay, so from here, I'm just gonna roll up. I'm gonna take it into a little bit different work here. So we're gonna be taking it to a kneeling position. Nice and rosy now. And we're gonna take it into a little bit of thigh stretch and then just find a nice little bit of sideline work for you to kind of finish everything off. So we're gonna take the circle again just in front of us. And again, I just sort of have it at like heart center. Hips are directly over the knees. And I want us to think more of like a flat back hinge versus like this extension, right? So I'm gonna take the arms forward and then we're gonna take an inhale. As we lean back, I'm keeping my back flat, I'm still reaching through the arms. From the thighs and belly, I come back up. It's a very small movement, but you'll feel it. Inhale, lean back. Exhale, come up. We'll just do 2 more like that. Inhale, and exhale. Good, 1 more. Inhale, and exhale. Good. From here, I'm gonna take the arms above my head. Stabilize on this left knee. I'm gonna just extend my right leg out. There's a slight external rotation. My toes are reaching out, but the hips and shoulders are still square. We're focusing a lot on the obliques here, so the arms come above our head, shoulders set down. Think of getting tall through your spine, and we're just gonna lift up, and we're gonna find a little side bend, okay? And then pick it back up. Same kind of feeling again as before, right? Where we were doing our side bends, standing, right in the beginning of class, but now it's more of a lean. So it's still, you're not really finding like a lateral flexion, but you're really kind of just leaning the upper body. It's one piece as it moves. And I'm still reaching a lot through this right leg. So there's, again, kind of that sense of opposition, like fingertips and toes reaching away. We'll go 1 more. Okay. So from here, we're gonna take it a little bit higher of a level, right? You can stick with that same version of just the side bends if you like, but we're gonna try to find our balance still using the circle and then working a little bit more through the leg. So we take the arms above our heads again, shrug the shoulders down. Stay tall through your spine as we lift up and over, we find that side lean first. And now take the circle to the mat or to the ground and really reach it far away. And then I'm just gonna start to lean a little bit more into this left side. So I'm trying to find balance on my left knee, balance on my left hand. And then I'm gonna reach the right arm up. From here, I'm gonna float this right leg up, and you're just gonna try to find your balance here. From here, bending into this top knee, and then reach it out. This hand can be at the back of your head, could be at your hip. But again, here's the muscle that we've been talking about for a while too, is that serratus, right? The lat and the serratus are helping us to stay lifted. You can always do this without the circle. Try to keep your hips stacked, shoulders stacked, and that thigh stays parallel to the ground for 2 more. Last one. Leg stays reaching, lower it down, lift up and over, just find a side bend stretch. Breathing into the ribs, and then just go ahead and restack. We're gonna bang this right knee back in. We're gonna extend the left leg out, so we're just doing the same thing on the other side. So hips and shoulders square, holding on to the circle. We're gonna extend the left leg out. I might scoot over just a little bit. Okay, so again, hips, shoulders square, arms reach up, shoulders set down, tall through the spine. Inhale as we side bend over to the right. Use your exhale to lift back up. Left obliques actively helping. So we reach away, arms and legs away. Exhale to pick it back up. Let's do 4 more. Side bend, reach. Exhale, back up. And again, inhale. Exhale, pick it up. 1 more. Inhale. Exhale, back up. Same move, but now we're gonna be taking the circle down to the floor. So we inhale. Exhale, side bend first. Now slowly start to lower the circle down to the floor. Control with that left knee, it's down, right hand is down. I start to shift the weight. So the hip is almost over that right knee now. Okay, so once you feel the serratus connect, lat connect, you can float the left leg up, okay? So now from here, it's just a bend and extend of the top knee. You can think of the knee and the hip in alignment here, straight up and down. And you wanna think of your hip, knee, and ankle staying in alignment with the floor, right? So it's parallel to the floor the whole time. So try to still think of some length in this top hip, even though it is gonna be crunched a little bit. And I'm still just kind of pressing into this right hand. You can have a bent elbow, soft elbow, still thinking of length. So from the leg to the crown of the head, just 2 more. Good, 1 more to go. Keep the leg long, lower it down, find a side bend stretch. So just lifting up and over. And then go ahead and restack. From here, we're just gonna spin around. And I'm gonna have the circle I'm still gonna use that to kind of help me with some extension. But we're just gonna take it down onto our bellies. So however you'd like to get there. And then I can use the circle 1 of 2 ways. So I could have it lifted more sort of like on the taller side, right, where both of the pads are vertical of each other. If I flip it the other way and I use the pads of the circle here to hold on to, It just helps to lower the shoulders down away from the neck a little bit. So if this feels like too much extension or something weird for the shoulder, you just flip it over and it would just be a little bit lower this way. And then also just know that you can do it without the circle, okay? So I'm gonna try the taller way. So it kind of helps me to feel a little bit more grounded. So the pad is on. I'm gonna take both of my hands, the pads of my hands, onto the circle. And I'm gonna start by just having my body rest on the mat. I'm thinking of the legs reaching back, and then my pubic bone pushes into the mat, but then my belly button actively lifts up and away. And that part's important. You wanna be able to find length in your low back. So if anytime you're on your belly, you wanna think of this, this prone position. You wanna think of those 2 points, again, pressing and pulling, so pubic bone down, belly button up and in. So that way we're not here, right? There's that tendency just to let the booty pop up, and that's gonna be where your low back starts to hurt, right? So there's that active press down again into the circle, so turning on serratus and lats. So I'm reaching the legs, pushing pubic bone, lifting belly, taking an exhale to prepare. Exhale, let all your air out. Your inhale is where you press into the circle, connecting your lats, and you start to lift the upper body up. Exhale, you lower back down. So I didn't lift very high on purpose, right? You just want to try to find length here versus, right, how high you can come. So connecting into the shoulders, belly is active here still, and then you lower back down. I just want to see 2 more. Exhale to prepare. Inhale, head lifts, chest lifts, and lower back down. Let's do 1 more just like that. Again, we lift. Holding there. Can you reach the chest more forward? Push the pubic bone down, turn the belly on more, feel a little shake. Inhale. Can we stay lifted? Just take a look over to the left. Back to center. Take a look to the right. Back to center. Find that center line, right? And you're gonna lower the body back down. Very good. From here, you can just let the circle rest in front of you. Hands come underneath your shoulders. And then just press back here into a quick little child's pose. So I just have the knees wide, and I'm just gonna walk the hands over to the right side of the room. I'm stacking the left hand on top of the right, pull the belly in. Just drop the head heavy. Feel that deep stretch through the left side of your body. And then carefully walk the hands over to the left, keeping the hips square where they're at. Right hand stacks on top. And then again, I'm reaching away. So I'm opening up with every inhale. I feel the intercostals expand a little bit more, the muscles between the ribs, and then you're gonna walk the hands back into center 1 last time, just dropping through the chest. Maybe coming up onto the fingertips for a deeper chest stretch. Inhale. And then exhale, just walking your hands back towards your knees. And I'll just spin to face you. Then we're just gonna take the arms up and down. We'll just take 2 more breaths. Inhale up and down. Last time up and down. Thank you so much for joining me, guys.